All right, hey everybody, this is John coming from the Holiday Inn Atlanta Airport South, and I am here with Paul. We are at the Brainspotting Phase 1 training for therapists of color, and I just wanted to chat with Paul for a few minutes to get his perspective on the training. All right, so hey Paul, thanks for agreeing to be interviewed. And so tell me, why don't you just go ahead and tell me about what you think about the brain spotting training for therapists of color, Phase 1, Atlanta.
I think the training is great. I'm learning so much. I'm unlearning some other things. Learning how to just be present without having an answer, having to chime in and redirect. We talked about other treatment modalities where they have like almost a script when you're helping a client, but I think sometimes, as I said, when we have a script, we might lose what the client needs because we're going with our predetermined plan as opposed to allowing the client to process everything. So for me, it's been almost like life-changing in the sense that I can go and use this with other clients, use this with clients I already have. They're already excited about it. I told them a little bit about it. But just being an experience myself and just practicing and having it done on me, and how I'm getting connected to different things that maybe I thought I moved past, or maybe I thought that was something else, or was really something else. And I think a couple of times that I did it, I started out talking about one thing, but that wasn't a real issue, and I got down to the underlying issue. And I was able to really pay attention and notice my body and how my body responds to certain things. So it's been really informative. It's been really life-changing, and I think we need more men. I don't think we definitely need more men here, because I think we would be effective as well when we're talking to other men about this, other boys about this. And we just need to be more present in these things and learning together and just be in these spaces more often. Like so often it's just like me and like maybe 2 or 3 other people, men. But if we can get a more, and I'm telling all my friends that are male therapists, black male therapists back at home too about it. And they're excited. They want me to teach them. But I think I'm going to encourage them to go to the training because I'm not a trainer. But I think we definitely need to have more representation. Yeah.
So I got a question. So now that we're like 2.5 days in, or almost towards the end of the third of 4 days. So would you say that as a black man, specifically as a black man, how would you say this training would benefit black men and black male therapists and black boys, and then by extension, other men who are men of color, Latinos, Asian, etc.?
I think for that, the demonstration that we had yesterday was another black male therapist. And we talked about the rage. We talked about anger and being able to have it in a controlled space and understand that we use the word righteous rage, and how impactful that is, because when he screamed, because he was talking about some of these issues, I got startled and I went through a process of, oh no, I have to protect all these women because he might be out of control, or he's not representing us well, or I don't know how to reach that rage. Because I feel like we subdue so many different things and we're not allowed to be in that space, but this created a safe space to be there. And I think more black men need to understand all of our emotions, including the rage, and in a controlled space where we really understand what it is, as opposed to subduing it and it shows up different ways. So being a black man and being able to use this for and with other men, whether in the field or they're just clients, is so valuable. It's invaluable. And also, again, not just black men, as you said, but just other clinicians of color, other men of color, Latino, just everything. And I think it's just so powerful, so important to being able to really understand where where this trauma is held in our bodies, where the trauma is held in our minds, and understanding the brain and why your body, why you get hot, why you feel pain in your back, and when something happens, and understanding what that is. And I'm not gonna lie, it's not an easy training, but it's necessary. It's work, and it's work, and the more I do it, the more I get comfortable, but the more I realize I need to keep doing it, and I need to learn more. Because the first 2 days I was exhausted, but that means I'm working, but I felt better. So, and it's not like other situations where, if I see my therapist, where I go through a tough session, and then I just feel still wound up. I still feel affected. Maybe like a day or 2 or 3 days later, like I felt exhausted, but I felt like released and relieved after doing it.
I got one final question for you. So a lot of times in my experience, I noticed that black men of color, in terms of sort of like dealing with things like trauma or just their problems, they often, just want to talk about it. Just want to talk about it. You go to an anger management group and you talk about it, or you go do this and you talk about it. And so maybe if you could share what your experience was in terms of this brain spotting experience, which is a somatic brain body intervention modality, and sharing. You mentioned that it would it's not easy, but maybe just sharing a little bit about what your experience was in doing when we were practicing, what your experience was versus talk therapy.
So one of the biggest things that I noticed when we were doing it is like I tried to intellectualize everything. I tried to talk through whatever I was dealing with. But as I was looking at the pointer, and as I was doing those different things, I felt my body. I noticed my hands were fidgety. I noticed something on my side. I noticed like my body was just jumping. I noticed when I was looking at the pointer that my eye would just twitch. And I'm just like, what is going on? Like, why is that doing it? And that's when I was like trying to just talk about it, try to, like I said, intellectualize it. But when I got into it and really felt it and noticed where I was feeling it, that stuff, I paid attention to it, but then it went away, and allowed me to really address the issue as opposed to just pretending like it's just a story that I'm telling. And I was able to connect with it, and I think that's so important, and that's why I want to continue to do this brain spotting. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Paul. Very much appreciate it. All right, take care, folks.